Okay, so Hellbent dropped another dev blog thing, this thing, and I was in the middle of editing something else, so we're kind of doing this off the cuff. I'm not going to talk about everything in here, but I'm just going to talk about the important bits that I think, the parts that are more important to me and the content that I cover. And I'm going to share my thoughts on what they've done and how what I think about them. So that's all we're doing. Any deep dive into this will be done by somebody else.
Space Coconut.
So, starting with the monster experience, it says they're implementing a few things here. The bounty system, which people were saying that XP wasn't going to be enough, they decided to award flux instead of XP. So, I mean, we can get more cosmetics and, maybe free. You can earn. It'll help you earn flux to purchase the DLC. Maybe in the future. And while the loss of XP is kind of sad, switching it to Flux, which I think many people will agree is more valuable to a degree, I think it's a fair trade. Both would be nice, but of course we can't have everything we want, right? They're introducing a vending machine interaction where you can smack a live machine and then 60 seconds later, a random vending machine will turn on again, which at first I thought that this wasn't a huge deal. It didn't seem like something that was important or anything. But I mean, as a monster, I've come across a vending machine or two and I just walk past it. There's nothing, you don't do anything. It's just there and you can't camp it. You can't do anything to ambush teens with it or anything like that. So interacting with it and then like if a teen saw it and they memorized its location and they came by and then it was gone, they thought maybe somebody grabbed it, right? Just adding that gives the monster a little something to do. They can have a slight impact on the match outside of just smacking teens. So while this is a small thing and almost an inconsequential thing, it's actually pretty interesting and it helps, liven up the monster gameplay experience a little bit. I'm a fan of that. And then the other thing they talked about was the plague system changes, and this is going to be interesting. If you don't have a plague when you go into a match, each hit as you hit a teen will start earning you tickets, I guess you could say, to claiming a plague. After you hit probably like 10 or 15 get 10 or 15 hits, you get to hit the button, and then you get a random plague, and then you'll have it in your hands and you can use it whenever you want. So, I mean, again, it's kind of like the vending machine. It may or may not be really impactful at your point in the game. It's random, but it's an additional thing that the monster can do that might give it an edge during a match, which right now they kind of need. Once they do this, then they're going to start looking at the plagues themselves to see if they need to be adjusted or anything like that. Now, the biggest change, and the one I'm most excited about, is the new status effect, Busted. With the new DLC, they're going to implement it into the game. So once they reach a certain number of hits, I think they mentioned 6 before, after that point, a teen can no longer be healed to fully healed status. The only thing that can do that is the staff. So we'll see how that actually turns out, but in a lot of my matches against higher skill players, this is actually going to be a pretty big deal, not being able to heal, and the monster will be able to make significant progress without having to rely on building its rage and getting, stunned by stun weapons and things and losing that rage altogether. So I'm really excited for this mechanic, and I think it's going to help. It's going to help a lot. But as I'm going to say this several times, I'm not looking at this each individual thing, right? I'm not looking at this one thing and seeing, how important or how impactful it's going to be. What's important is not right now when we're talking about individual things, individual changes. What's most important is how all of this comes together as one whole unit once the update happens. Because all of these little things, they sound obnoxious, right? But when we take it out of the match, out of the game, it loses what it's supposed to do. So once the update happens and we can experience these things in the game, that's when we're going to be most equipped to see how these things are and if they need a little adjustment or if they're too much or not enough. So with everything in these updates, if you're excited or not excited about any individual part, remember that we have to think about the whole package all at once. And I think that's important to remember when looking at these notes. They mentioned this feature store rotation, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm a little confused as to what all of this means. As far as I can tell, what happened was they restarted the store from day one, which is why many of us found ourselves looking at the same stuff in the store that we did when early access happened. And we thought that maybe the store just reset because for some reason we weren't getting any new cosmetics after the endless summer thing happened, right? So I guess what happened was whatever timing is happening here messed up the store. Being able to change the rotation or something like this. I literally am not sure what this is supposed to fix, but the store rotation, I guess, is going to rotate, whatever that means exactly, once the update hits. And then they just mentioned going forward that they're not going to have problems with it anymore. I'm not exactly sure what all of this means. Maybe somebody understands and you can explain it in the comments below. But for now, maybe this is a good thing. I mean, I'm sure it is. Maybe it has something to do with, the cosmetics that we've been talking about and the store rotations. I don't know. Maybe this is good. I'm confused. Help me. Now everybody's expecting Reggie and Deathwire to come together, and they just confirmed that Deathwire is going to be arriving by himself, and Reggie's going to be showing up later. Now, there are a lot of people who are going to be upset about this, but I think it's important to understand why. Right now, the devs are trying to pump some life into the monster player queue in order to get queue times to be where they should be, which is a lot of people playing monster, a lot of people playing teen, and everybody getting less than 1 minute matches. That's the goal. And if they dropped a teen right now, where all of the teen players would want to play teen, you're going to be sitting in 30 to 40 minute lobbies, right? Because they were originally going to drop Reggie first, which didn't make any sense to me, right? But they changed it so that, of course they did. So with Deathwire showing up first, a lot of people are going to be playing the new monster, right? A lot of people are going to be trying it out and testing these new changes, and maybe it'll restart their new player experience, their monster experience batteries or whatever, and they will be able to enjoy the role, because that's the goal. We want players to try and play monster, and if they have to release Deathwire first to bait players into the role right away to understand that these changes are good, then that's what needed to happen. And with his release answers the question that I was curious about the most, and that is, how much is the damn thing? And thankfully, I was right and wrong. Well, no, I was completely wrong. So they are charging 1,200 fan bucks or 2,400 flux. Now, the interesting thing here is and I don't know how to explain this to you, except I want you to understand that this is super encouraging and exciting for me. This is really, really good news at how they have priced this, and let me explain why. First off, 1,200 fan bucks is 10 bucks. You just get one pack of flux and you're paying 10 bucks for the monster. There's no currency manipulation here. They're not charging 1,150 fan bucks. It's 1,200 even, which gets you exactly 1,200 fan bucks for exactly 10 bucks from the store. It's just 10 bucks for the monster. And I don't know how hard I can emphasize how cool this is that they've done. Right? And so the fact that they've done this, you need to look at this. The fact that Deathwire is $1,200 fan bucks means that they understand the place that their store is in. They understand the stigma of having an in-game shop the way they do, right? And by giving us a character and charging exactly one pack of currency for it, should show you how player-minded they are. I want that to sink in. This is huge news. And then of course there is the 24,000 flux, which is the free currency, and it still follows the in-game store ratio of 1 fan buck per 20 flux. So I mean, at least it's consistent, but still you can still buy it for 10 bucks straight up, which I'm a big fan of. Now in the future we can assume that Reggie is going to cost that much also. Now here is the thing. Here's the concern, right? Now, going over the monster abilities and stuff, I think I'm going to put that off until I actually play with the monster. because you get the idea from the videos and that sort of thing. But I think we'll really, really be able to play with the mutation. Well, of course, we'll be able to play with them. I'll be able to talk about them more in depth after we've spent time working it into the system, after we've spent time getting the muscle memory and stuff like that. There are a few concerns that I have, but that are only going to be figured out once I play against the monster and play as the monster. So any kind of monster review is just going to have to wait until later. Because as of right now, this is all just numbers and words. They don't have any meaning right now. A lot of people are speculating though. But who knows? Who knows what the meta is going to look like? Because I don't think, I don't know. I think a lot can happen and I think a lot can change. But overall, okay, for the core health of the game, there's a lot going on here. There's a lot going on. There's small things that are happening and it's all going to come together. And hopefully it's going to improve the situation for the players. Only time will tell. We'll see what happens. I, of course, am going to get Deathwire with the flux that I got from the Founders Pack, because I've been hoarding all of those coins to do this. So at this price, I should be able to get 3 or 4 characters. So as long as I don't buy any more cosmetics with fan bucks, I can get the next bunch of characters. So I'll have to remember that. But I don't know, if the game is starting to improve, hey, maybe I'll drop some more money into the vending machine, so to speak. Let me know what you think about the monster changes, the matchmaking stuff they're talking about, the release schedule change for Deathwire compared to Reggie, the price of the characters. Let me know what you think about all of that. And yeah, you know what? We'll talk about this in tomorrow's stream. So until then, you guys have a good night, and I will catch you later.